Alright fam, welcome to my crazy channel. Today we're going to be testing the new HQprops for the DJI NEO. And if you see me flying this thing really crazy, yes, I did that with the DJI props and the master air screws, but this is Dronarchy. We have to push things to its maximum limit. So I'm going to be flying this thing crazy acro, but before I do that, just to prove my point, I will also fly like most of you guys, like gliding around, flying it like a real cinewhoop and not like a freaking acro machine, okay? So I'm gonna test both worlds, both domains, okay? The cinewhoop world and also the crazy Stuka Dronarchy mode, all right? So let's see what happens. All right, so this is the part of the video where people start asking, what do I need to fly acro on the NEO? Number one, you have to use this remote control, the RC3, okay? Not the motion control, the RC3 FPV drone, because you're gonna set up to acro mode and then you have to turn on and turn off the motors, right? Arming, just like an FPV drone. That's why you need this remote control. Now, you'll also need a pair of goggles, okay? These are the G3s, but if you don't have $500, right, to spend on a set of goggles, you can spend maybe like $200 on the N3 that's also compatible with the NEO. Now, camera angle. I'm going to be using 30 because I want to go kind of fast on the floor, not 45 or 50. I'm going to go with 30. And also my rates. I use 220 on center sensitivity. Okay, my max rates are 1,090 degrees per second, which is really fast. And my expo on the remote control is 0.10 on both of the, on all three rows, pitch, roll, and yaw. Okay, so 220, 1,090 max rates, and expo of 0.10. Yeah, these props are for like really good if you're like flying the NEO to cruise around, because it has less pitch, so it's less power hungry and more stable. I can tell you right now how it feels like that, which is great. So if you're not into extremely aggressive stuff, then these props are gonna give you that butter control. It's flying really smooth. It's like less punchy. That's the best way I can describe it. These are not punchy props. These are smooth props. The stock DJI props and the master air screws will give you that extra like punch if you're flying really aggressive and acro. Yeah, it's like, these are like smooth props, bro. These are smooth. I like this. Not everyone has to fly aggressive or ultra crazy, I get it. But you can get sweet lines if you need to. Yeah, these are like glide, smooth butter ones. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, flips and rolls are fine. You see, no yaw tumble. You have to master the throttle. Master the throttle. It's going to take a few sessions, but absolutely critical that you master your throttle, okay?
All my homies spin the block.
What
hit
if?
the gas, hit the gas.
Yeehaw! Yes, yes! You can do some acro. Sweet! I get excited. Sorry, guys. I really enjoy flying FPV. My bad, my bad. Sheesh! Whoa! Alright, so I know you guys love when I do trippy, so let's test this with lower pitch. Yeah, it's fine.
Spin the block, hit the gas, hit the gas.
It's fine. Because it's harder to do trippy spins when you have lower pitch props because it's less air that it can bite, and you actually need that when you're doing trippies. You need to get that extra air bite so it will maintain the drone flying vertical. Okay. See, I'm doing it both ways, clockwise and counterclockwise. So yes, I approve these props. Woohoo! Boom! And I have to end with a crash. Nasty slam, so you know this drone can actually take a beating. And that was tarmac, not grass. I landed right on the parking lot tarmac. And it's it, guys. It's a wrap. Woo-hoo! Cool props. Cool props. Alright fam, so before I finish the video, I have to say two things about this drone, and that is how noisy are the props and also if there's any battery efficiency. Okay, so let's be real, it's just a small whoop, cinewhoop, and as you may know, like a Pablo 20, even Avatar 2, Cinelok, Cinerats, when you're flying cinewhoops of this size, they tend to sound on the higher pitch frequency. Okay, it's not going to be a 9 or 10 inch Cinelifter. Okay, it's going to be something with a small motor with smaller props. Therefore, the frequency of the sound is going to be on the higher pitch. Okay, so noisy, they're kind of noisy, and you could hear it on the video because I had the stick cam, so you could appreciate the actual sound, but it's nothing too different or drastic versus the DJI stock or the Master Air Screws. Okay, so they're on the noisy, you know, range. Now the whole thing with the battery is a big question mark because, as you saw, I like to switch. I like to do glides. I like to cruise around, enjoy low proximity, lots of immersion and motion blur. But then I get spicy and I start doing trippy spin both ways and matties and flips and rolls. Of course, that's going to drain the battery. So it's not a regular or a linear experience of consuming the battery. It's very like random and chaotic because of the way I do my rips. So the way I do it, just so you know, I like to use one battery if possible and then cut it in half. Like the first part, it could be fun, gliding, immersive, you know, having fun with it. But then I get spicy. So that way one clip I can actually cut it in half and make 2 short stories if I need to. Okay, that's just the way I do it. So again, battery life, maybe you can save a minute and a half, no more than 2 minutes, to be honest with you. It's not like it's going to be 3 or 4 or 5 minutes or more. No, let's be real. Even though if you can mix stuff, right, and be gliding and doing technical tricks, I don't think you're going to get more than saving an extra minute because of the pitch on the actual props. I will have to actually measure it and go to the nanosecond, right? But based on my experience, I would say that might give you an extra minute or a bit more than that, but no more than 2 minutes, okay? And that's just like cruising around, super smooth, without doing anything too crazy. So there you have it. All right, guys, so there you have it. And you saw I had tons of insane control while going really low to the ground, meaning there's a minimum distance between the props and the ground, and it was pushing air super consistently, super butter and solid. So these props are really good for beginners or people that want to use the Neo for what it is, okay? But if you want to get spicy, you want to go really Dronarchy, you know, style, yes, I showed proof that you can actually pull all the crazy tricks. You can do your Matties, you can do your Trippies. You can still fly aggressive. It's just that they're not that punchy, okay? So it has more control, which is great, but then it will require more of your stick input when you're performing those tricks, and that way you can find a perfect balance, okay? So remember the law of equivalent exchange here. They're not gonna be as snappy as the DJI props or the Master Air Screws, but it's gonna give you more control than those. But how you balance that? With your own stick input, okay? So don't blame the drone, blame your skills, okay? So it's not the drone, it's actually the pilot. But you can always like get used to it, okay? So as I said, it will require a bit more of your stick input when you're flying crazy acro. But if you wanna just use the Neo for what it is, then these props are a must, okay? So, Dronarchy approved and HQ prop, HQ fam, always. But as you see, I like to do different tests with different props, okay? I don't like to be biased. That's why I kept flying with the Master Air Screws. I did fly with DJI props. So regardless of me being sponsored by this brand, I like to test other stuff and find out what really works and say it as it is, okay? So hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe. In the meantime, if you want to stay connected with my content, check these 2 videos right here. That's it, guys. Stay tuned for more. Cheers.